Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest paradoxes in travel. I mean, a real head scratcher.
It really is. The question is, how do you go and experience this, world-class culture, history, food that will change your life
Right.
in the single most crowded urban area on the planet if you, the traveler, just fundamentally hate crowds?
Exactly. We're diving deep into Tokyo, the beast, the largest metropolitan area on Earth. What is it, 37 million people?
37 million is a staggering number, but we're focusing on a very specific person here. Think of a mid-range couple. You're on a tight schedule, maybe 5 days.
Stops at a tight schedule.
And you want that deep cultural hit. You want the amazing food, but without the logistical burnout that just seems inevitable with that many people.
The tension there is just, it's so real. And for you, the listener, the risk of failure is huge. If you try to just follow a top 10 Tokyo list from a blog.
Oh, don't do it.
You're going to spend your whole trip shoulder to shoulder with thousands of people trying to get a photo. That isn't culture. That's what we call logistical FOMO.
That's a great term for it. That fear of missing out just morphs into the reality of, having a full-blown travel meltdown by day 3.
Right. So our mission today is to give you the strategic framework, the cheat codes, really.
Yeah.
So you can decide if Tokyo is even worth the 14-hour flight for you, the person who hates crowds.
And we think it is. We really do. But, and this is a huge but, only if you follow a playbook that is pretty much the opposite of what most tourist guides will tell you.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Before we dive into all the anxiety and the planning, let's talk about the good stuff, the aha moments that made us realize this trip is actually possible.
Yeah, our sources pointed to 3 massive, and I mean truly contrarian surprises about what it's like to actually be on the ground in Tokyo.
And the first one is probably the most important for your sanity.
It is. It's the quiet. It is just profoundly quiet.
How is that even possible?
I know, it's surreal. You have this overwhelming volume of people, just seas of humanity. But the city has this almost library quiet atmosphere in most public spaces.
So you're not hearing, like, horns honking, people yelling on their phones, none of that big city noise?
Almost none. It's not like London. It's not like New York. It's fundamentally a cultural norm, this ingrained respect for shared space. People wait. They speak quietly.
That in itself must lower your anxiety level immediately.
It does. It changes the entire baseline of urban stress.
Okay, this is where it gets really weird for me. The second surprise is about food.
Yeah.
And it completely flips the script on what we're used to.
It does. In basically every other city on Earth, a long line outside a restaurant means this place is amazing.
It's a sign of quality, right?
Exactly. In Tokyo, our sources say it's the opposite. If you see a line, especially a long one full of tourists, it should be a massive red flag.
A red flag, too. Run away.
Yes. Run away. That line means one of 2 things. Either it's a viral TikTok trend and you're about to waste 90 minutes for some fluffy pancakes you could get somewhere else.
Okay.
Or it just means the place is inefficient. The truly life-changing food, the stuff that's on every corner, is being served quietly to locals with 0 wait.
Wow, okay. And the third surprise, this one feels like it changes the whole equation.
It really does. It's the cost.
Yeah.
Right now, because of some very specific economic factors, Tokyo is actually cheaper for on-the-ground spending than London, New York, or Paris if you're holding dollars or euros.
So it's more affordable. That changes everything. It means you can, grab a taxi when you're exhausted instead of facing the subway again.
Exactly. It gives you options, and options are the ultimate weapon against logistical burnout.
Which brings us to, I think, the boldest and most important claim of this entire deep dive. This is the foundational cheat code.
This is the big one. If you hate crowds, you must not stay in Shinjuku or Shibuya.
I can hear people yelling at their speakers right now. Every single guide says to stay there. They're central. They're convenient.
I know, and they are. But for a crowd hater, basing your trip in one of those 2 hubs is a guaranteed recipe for constant low-grade anxiety and logistical failure.
Okay, we're going to break down exactly why that is. We'll get into the exact budget you'll need, the reality of safety, and the step-by-step fixes to make sure your 5 days are about culture and food, not fighting your own panic attacks. All right, let's pull back and start with the macro view. Section 1, context, expectations, and financial reality. You can't plan this trip without understanding the money situation first.
Absolutely. So we have to start with what we're calling the financial opportunity. Japan is on sale. The fact that we're even having this conversation right now is largely because of the currency.
And there's some history here, right?
Oh.
After 2020, the country was closed for a long time. When the borders reopened, there's this huge flood of tourists.
A massive surge. But the thing that's stuck around, the dominant factor for you as a traveler, is the sustained historic weakness of the Japanese yen against currencies like the dollar and the euro.
So when you say weakness, we're not talking about a few percentage points. This is a big deal.
A very big deal. It's hovering around levels we haven't seen in decades. It's a structural shift that massively benefits anyone coming in with foreign currency.
Okay, so give me a tangible example. What does this actually mean for my wallet on a 5-day trip?
Our sources did the math. A trip that might have cost you, say, $5,000 in on-the-ground spending a few years ago.
For hotels, food, trains, everything.
Everything. That same trip might only cost you around $3,500 now. You're looking at something like a 30% discount on your entire vacation just because of the exchange rate.
Wow. That's a game changer for a mid-range couple.
It's critical. It's the difference between sticking to cheap ramen every day and, splurging on a really nice tempura dinner. It gives you that cushion, that flexibility to, as you said, take a taxi when you're overwhelmed. That's the best anti-crowd strategy there is.
But all the money in the world can't buy you peace of mind in a city of 37 million. So we have to talk about managing expectations. Let's get into expectations versus reality. From Blade Runner to commuter chaos.
Right. Most people, when they picture Tokyo, they're thinking of sensory overload, that classic Blade Runner aesthetic. Neon, noise, robots, screens everywhere, 24/7.
And the reality is a bit different. It's still futuristic,
Yeah.
but it's also, frankly, just exhausting in an administrative way.
Exactly. Yes, the trains are punctual to the second. It's the definition of efficiency. But the trap is thinking that efficiency makes the city easy to navigate.
It does not.
Not at all. The punctuality of the trains is completely canceled out by the time you lose just trying to get around inside the stations. These aren't just stations, they're underground cities.
And this is such a key detail. You look at Google Maps on your phone, and it says your hotel is like 200 meters from the subway exit.
And you think, great, 5-minute walk.
But then you get off the train, and you realize you have to walk 500 meters down a tunnel, go up 3 escalators, walk another 300 meters through a department store basement.
And then you have to find exit A12B. Our sources were clocking 15 to 20 minutes just to find the right way out of a big station.
So for you as a crowd hater, the key thing to understand is that Tokyo's volume isn't random. It's what we're calling organized volume.
Yes. It's not chaos like a mosh pit where people are pushing and unpredictable. It's chaos like a colony of ants.
That's a great analogy.
Millions of people moving in these incredibly organized, fast-moving streams. Everyone is following very strict, unspoken rules.
So you're not really worried about being shoved or confronted. The shock isn't from disorder. It's from the sheer, relentless volume of humanity just flowing past you at all times.
And if you go in with the wrong expectations, that's where the disappointment hits. You came for Zen gardens and cool skyscrapers.
And what do you get?
You get a 5-day trip that feels like it's just about navigating subway tunnels and waiting in line for a Starbucks. Your precious time just gets eaten alive by logistics.
But there is a saving grace. The one cultural element that stops the whole city from being completely overwhelming.
And that is the overriding factor of omotenashi, Japanese hospitality.
People translate it as service, but that doesn't really capture it, does it?
Not even close. It's a much deeper concept. It's this genuine level of hospitality that's all about anticipating a guest's needs before they even say anything, and doing it without any expectation of a tip or even effusive thanks.
And this really softens the blow of the crowds. Just think about the psychological difference between being in a crowd where everyone is aggressive and one where everyone is actively trying not to bump into you.
That difference is everything when your anxiety is already high. And the best example isn't from a fancy hotel. It's from a 7-Eleven.
Right. The clerk at a convenience store will handle your transaction for a coffee and a sandwich.
Yeah.
With, 2 hands. A perfect little bow.
And a level of deep respect that you'd be lucky to get from a concierge at a 5-star hotel in another country.
So that's the synthesis. It's cheaper than you think, but way harder to navigate than you imagine. But the profound politeness of the culture is your emotional buffer against the stress of the crowds. Okay, so that context is super helpful. It really sets the stage for the practical stuff, the first 24 hours, and the actual budget. Let's move into section 2, the practicalities of arrival and budget breakdown.
All right, so first impressions. Navigating the initial friction. The very first decision you make matters a lot, and that's your airport.
Haneda versus Narita.
Yes. And you should prioritize Haneda, HND if you can. It's just so much closer to the city center. It can save you a solid hour of travel time right off the bat, which is gold on a 5-day trip.
An hour you're not spending on a train, jet-lagged, with all your luggage.
Okay.
Okay, so you land at Haneda. What's the first thing that hits you?
The first real contradiction, the silence. It's almost eerie. The arrival halls can be packed with thousands of people, but it's so quiet you can literally hear the wheels of your own suitcase rolling on the floor.
That's amazing. But that calm doesn't last, does it?
It does not. We have to issue a serious subway crush warning. If your flight lands and you end up hitting rush hour, we're talking 7 to 9 a.m. or 5 to 7 p.m., the train into the city is an intense experience.
This is the moment. This is where the crowd-hating couple has their first real panic. It's not an exaggeration to say you are physically trussed against other people.
Oh, yeah. The carriage is so full that you'll see platform staff in white gloves literally helping to push people inside so the doors can close. It's a sensory shock. You have to anticipate it.
So what's the fix? It sounds unavoidable.
It's actually pretty simple. Just schedule around it. If your flight lands at 3 p.m., take your time. Go through customs, find a coffee shop, and just wait until after 7:30 p.m. to get on that train. That 1-hour delay buys you so much sanity.
That's a great tip. Okay, so you survive the train, you get to your hotel, you drop your bags,
Yeah.
and then comes the magic moment.
Yes, the side street reset. This is the beauty of Tokyo's design. You can be on a main street that's just a river of people, but you walk 2 blocks into a residential neighborhood.
Like Akasaka or Ueno.
Exactly. And the noise just drops to zero. All of a sudden, it's just clean streets, the quiet glow of vending machines, and total peace. That quiet sidewalk becomes your little oasis.
But inside the hotel, you get your next shock.
The size shock, yes. You have to be mentally prepared for the hotel and space constraint. In Tokyo, space is the absolute ultimate luxury.
Everything is smaller. The hotel room, the bathroom, the sink, the little coffee cup. For our mid-range couple, you're looking at a standard business hotel, an APA, a Dormy Inn. They're great, but the room will be tiny.
We're talking 12 to 15 square meters. It's efficient, it's minimalist, you have to be okay with that.
But the trade-off is the quality.
It's the quality buffer, yes. While the room is small, it's immaculate. The AC is perfect, it's spotless, and the amenities are amazing. They give you high-quality slippers, robes, even pajamas. All that attention to detail just erases the friction of, staying in a small, budget-friendly room.
And there's this one symbolic moment that our sources kept mentioning, the one that tells you you can finally relax.
It sounds so silly, but it's the convenience store egg salad sandwich.
The famous egg sando.
Yes. The moment you take a bite of that thing, it's perfectly fresh, perfectly seasoned, incredibly cheap, and you probably bought it at 2 a.m. after a 14-hour flight. You just realize, wow, the standard for everything here is so high that I can just let go.
That little bit of unexpected quality erases all the travel exhaustion. Okay, let's talk numbers. Let's do the cost and value analysis. We're aiming for a $150, $180 daily budget.
And that budget gets you a fantastic experience, again, thanks to that weak yen.
So let's break it down. Accommodation first. We're looking at about $60 per person per day if you're sharing a room.
Right. And for that, you get a super clean, high-quality base of operations. But we have to stress the caveat here. If you absolutely need a Western-sized room, like 25 square meters or more,
If you're tall, I just need space.
you have to be prepared to double your budget. Those bigger rooms are a luxury item, and they'll easily push your nightly cost to $250, $300 plus.
Okay, now the fun part. The food value, which you said is insane.
It is truly insane. This is where Tokyo just blows every other city away. You can eat like a king on a tiny budget.
So a world-class lunch. What are we doing?
A bowl of ramen or udon that would be like a religious experience.
Yeah.
Nuanced, perfect broth, incredible noodles. And it costs you $8 to $10. That same bowl would be $25 in New York.
And for something a bit more substantial.
You get a chishoku, a beautiful set meal. You get grilled fish, miso soup, perfect rice, some pickles, all balanced, all delicious, for about $12. The quality for that price is just unmatched anywhere.
And dinner. You're not breaking the bank there either.
Not at all. A great night out at a nice izakaya, a Japanese pub where you're having multiple small plates, yakitori, tempura with a couple of beers. You're looking at $30 to $40 per person.
And you can completely skip the really high-end stuff, right? The fancy omakase that costs hundreds of dollars.
Totally optional. The baseline quality of food is so high that you don't need to chase Michelin stars to have a life-changing meal. The $10 ramen is already life-changing.
What about snacks? All those vending machines.
You have to budget for them. They're everywhere, and they have amazing stuff. Hot coffee in a can, cold green tea. Plus, the bakeries are incredible. I'd budget, say, $15 a day just for spontaneous treats.
Okay, transport. The subway is cheap, $1 or $2 a ride, but you warned about taxis.
This is the critical warning for the crowd hater. You will be tempted to take taxis to avoid the subway. Do not overdo it. Your budget will evaporate.
They're that expensive.
They're pricey. A 20-minute ride can easily be $25 or $30. Use them tactically at the end of a long day, but not as your main way of getting around.
And activities are pretty cheap, right? Temples and shrines are mostly free.
Or a tiny entry fee like $3. The big costs are the observation decks like Shibuya Sky, which are $15 or $20. I'd say prioritize the free cultural stuff over the expensive, crowded viewpoints.
Any hidden costs to watch out for?
A few.
Yeah.
At bars or izakayas, you'll often have a small, non-negotiable table charge called otoshi. It's usually $3 to $5 and comes with a little appetizer.
Oh, the fruit.
Oh, the fruit. Do not, I repeat, do not impulse buy a beautiful-looking melon or a perfect-looking strawberry. You might be paying $50 for it. It's a luxury gift item.
And the final hidden cost is the Don Quixote trap.
The black hole of impulse shopping. You go in for some pain reliever and you walk out with $80 worth of weird Kit Kat flavors and face masks you'll never use.
So the math holds up. For about $150 to $180 a day, you're getting world-class food and culture. You're just trading hotel room size for it.
It's the best trade you can make.
That makes the money part feel way less scary. Okay, but now we're at the real crucible. The logistics. Section 3. The logistics minefield and crowd-averse cheat codes. This is where we get into the real sanity-saving strategies.
Yes. Let's start with what is absolutely not negotiable. Your essential connectivity and payment systems. Your phone is your lifeline in Tokyo, period. You need data.
For Google Maps, mostly. Especially for finding your way inside those insane stations.
Exactly. You cannot rely on finding free Wi-Fi. It's spotty and it's a waste of time. So the number one requirement is an eSIM.
From a provider like Airalo or Ubiji.
Yeah.
And you need to set it up before you get on the plane.
Test it before you leave. The last thing you want is to be standing paralyzed in the middle of Shinjuku Station with no data. That is peak travel stress.
Okay, data is sorted. What's next?
Your payment card for transit, the Suica or the Pasmo card. This is your key to the city. But here's the little logistical pro tip.
What is it?
If you have an iPhone, set it up in your Apple Wallet before you even arrive in Japan. It's super easy.
Why is that so important?
Because if you have an Android phone from outside Japan, it can be tricky or impossible to get the virtual card. You might be forced to stand in a line at the airport to get a physical card, which is just a waste of that precious first hour.
Ah, I see. And these cards are amazing. You just tap for everything. Trains, vending machines, convenience stores.
It smooths out every single tiny transaction. No fumbling for cash. It's a massive friction reducer.
All right, now let's get to the big mistakes people make. The planning traps and strategic fixes.
This is where we save you hours of your life and gallons of anxiety.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. We want to be efficient. We only have 5 days. By telling people to avoid massive hubs like Shinjuku and Shibuya, aren't we telling them to stay somewhere inconvenient and waste time?
That's trap, #1, the Shinjuku station trap. And it's a great question because on a map, it looks like the most convenient place on Earth.
It's the biggest station in the world. 3.5 million people a day. Everything connects there.
And that's the problem. For a crowd hater, that convenience is an illusion. Yes, it connects to everything, but the sheer size and complexity mean you are guaranteed to waste 30 minutes every single morning just trying to find the right platform or the right exit. It's a constant mental drain.
Okay, so if Shinjuku is a logistical hellscape, what's the actual smart move? Where do I stay?
The fix is to base yourself in a quiet, central neighborhood that has smaller, more focused subway stations. Think about Akasaka, Ningyocho, or Ueno.
So what's the advantage of a place like Akasaka?
Akasaka has these great smaller restaurants, and its stations are on direct subway lines that can get you anywhere, but the stations themselves are manageable. You can walk out onto the sidewalk without being in a shoulder-to-shoulder crowd.
You're trading the complexity of the hub for peace on the street. I get that trade-off.
Exactly. You visit the hyper-crowded places on your terms, and then you retreat to your quiet home base.
Okay, let's move to trap, #2. The Instagram line trap. This is the one that just eats your daylight hours.
It can literally waste 20% of your trip. You see something on social media, those fluffy pancakes, that viral ramen, and you go and stand in line for 2 hours.
And the problem isn't even that the food is bad.
No, the food is probably great. The problem is the opportunity cost. 2 hours in a line is 2 hours you're not seeing a temple or exploring a garden, and it's 2 hours you're spending packed in with other tourists.
So the fix is just don't do it.
The fix is to recognize the sheer abundance of quality. Tokyo has over 100,000 restaurants. If you see a line, just walk one block over. The little family-run place next door will be 95% as good with zero wait.
So the key is to understand that the quality floor in Tokyo is incredibly high. You don't have to chase the absolute peak viral thing.
You can just pivot and get something else that's still excellent right away.
Mhm.
Or, if you absolutely must go to a specific place, use a reservation app like Table Check or Hot Pepper in advance. Never, ever just show up and plan to queue at peak meal times.
Got it. Now, trap #3. Underestimating the shoe leather tax. We talked about the walking, but let's make it real. You average 22,000 steps a day.
That's the physical reality. You think you're taking trains all day, but you're actually walking 10 miles, a lot of it underground.
Now,
The walk from the station entrance to the actual platform can be like 800 meters. It's exhausting.
so the fix is just practical.
Purely practical. Bring 2 pairs of ugly, comfortable walking shoes. I'm serious. If you prioritize fashion over function with your footwear, your trip is over by day 2 because of blisters.
And you mentioned budgeting for a tactical taxi.
Yes. At the end of the night, when your feet feel like they're going to fall off and the thought of navigating another station makes you want to cry, spend the $30. Get a quiet, direct ride back to your hotel. It's an investment in your mental health for the next day.
Lastly, this is a weird one, but it's a constant low-level annoyance. The culture of trash. The city is spotless, but there are no trash cans anywhere.
It's intentional. It dates back to anti-terrorism measures in the 90s, plus strong cultural norms about taking your own trash home.
But for a tourist, it's a real headache. You buy a bottle of water from a vending machine, and you're stuck carrying the empty bottle for hours.
So the solution is simple, but you have to do it. Pack a dedicated Ziploc bag or have a sealed pocket in your backpack just for your daily trash. You just accumulate it and then dispose of it when you get back to your hotel. It's a small thing, but it removes a constant, nagging little problem.
Okay, we know how to move, we know how to pay, we know how to deal with our trash. Now let's talk about the actual feeling of being there. Section 4, safety, comfort, and the anti-FOMO itinerary.
Right, and the foundational benefit, the thing that underpins the whole experience, is the unparalleled safety. Tokyo is, I would argue, the safest large city on Earth.
The psychological freedom that gives you is just.
Yep.
It's immense. You hear stories of people leaving their laptops on a cafe table to go to the bathroom, or using their wallet to save their seat.
And it's true. That constant low-level stress you have in other big cities of just watching your back and your belongings, it's completely gone.
So that's a huge stress reducer.
Yeah.
But safety isn't the same as comfort, is it?
No. The comfort challenge for the crowd hater is different. It's about the continuous sensory input. You end the day with this feeling of being good tired.
Good tired, I like that.
You're exhausted, but it's not from fear or danger. It's from the sheer mental processing of navigating millions of people moving around you all day, even if they're doing it politely.
And there's one thing that can turn that good tired into miserable and exhausted, and that's the weather.
We have to give a huge critical warning here. Do not travel to Tokyo in the summer, so July through September.
Why not? Just because it's hot.
It's not just hot. The heat and humidity are dangerously oppressive. We're talking high 90s Fahrenheit with 90% humidity. Our sources described it as swimming through soup.
Wow. And if you already have anxiety from crowds, adding the physical misery of being constantly drenched in sweat.
It's a guaranteed recipe for a terrible trip. Just don't do it. Stick to the shoulder seasons. November and May are beautiful. Even February is great. It's cold, but it's crystal clear and the crowds are thinner.
Okay. On the psychological side, there's another benefit for the introvert.
Yes. The stare, or rather the lack thereof, Tokyoites have perfected this art of polite indifference. They will not stare at you. They won't engage unless they have to. You are, for all practical purposes, invisible.
Which, for someone who already feels exposed and anxious in a crowd, is an incredible luxury.
It really is.
Let's talk about communication and accessibility.
Yeah.
The language barrier is real, isn't it? We can't just assume everyone will speak English.
It's very real, especially once you get off the main tourist track. You have to be prepared for zero English proficiency from, say, an older taxi driver or the owner of a tiny neighborhood restaurant.
But what are your tools?
Your best friends are your phone and 3 magic words. For the phone, it's the Google Translate app, specifically the camera feature. You just point it at a menu and it translates it for you. It's a lifesaver.
And the 3 words.
Sumimasen, arigato, and ohish.
So, excuse me, sorry, thank you, and delicious.
Exactly. Just learning and using those 3 words with a polite tone will get you through 90% of your interactions. It shows respect and it works.
And what about physical accessibility for someone with mobility issues?
That's a real challenge. The city is modern, but the stations are so huge and multi-layered. Yes, there are elevators, but finding them can mean taking these massive, winding detours. It's not a city that's friendly for wheelchairs or even strollers.
Okay, so with all that in mind, how do we actually structure a 5-day trip to maximize the good stuff and minimize the bad?
We have to be strategic. So let's define our strategic sightseeing, best moments and total flops. And we have to start with the things you must skip.
Let's hear the flops. Number 1 on the do not go list.
Takeshita Street in Harajuku. Our sources were unanimous on this. For a crowd-averse person, it is actual hell on earth.
It's sold as this cool, quirky fashion street.
But the reality is a narrow, choked street that is prominently packed shoulder to shoulder with tourists buying cheap trinkets and novelty snacks. You literally cannot walk without bumping into people constantly. Avoid at all costs.
And the second big flop is an iconic one, Shibuya Crossing.
Yeah, and look, it's a spectacle. For 30 seconds, when that light changes and 3,000 people swarm into the intersection, it's impressive.
But only for 30 seconds.
Then you spend the next 30 minutes trying to fight your way out of the crowd, realizing the spectacle is actually just a huge logistical trap.
Well, Spix for Shibuya is to see it, but not be in it.
Exactly.
Right.
Go to the Starbucks on the second floor or one of the nearby observation decks. Watch it from above, get your photo, and then leave the area. Do not linger on the ground.
Okay, now for the highlights. The things that actually work. And the secret is timing.
It's all about timing. Your cheat code is what we call early morning zen.
Give me an example.
Sensoji Temple in Asakusa. It's one of the most famous spots in Tokyo. If you go at 10 a.m., it's an absolute mob scene. Tour buses, crowds, vendors yelling.
But if you go at 6 a.m.?
It's magic! The market stalls are all closed, the crowds are gone, it's just you, the giant red lantern, the temple grounds. It's a truly quiet, spiritual experience that you just can't get later in the day.
So you use time to beat the crowds. But the other highlight is about embracing the unplanned.
Yes. The unplanned reality. The most memorable moments aren't on your checklist. Our sources told this story about ducking into a random smoky little pub under the train tracks in Yurakucho.
Not a famous place.
Not at all. It was loud, full of local office workers, totally non-touristy, and they just had cold beer and grilled chicken hearts by pointing and smiling. That experience is infinitely more valuable than waiting in line for 2 hours for some trendy ramen.
The takeaway there is huge. The best moments are the ones you let happen to you, not the ones you chase down.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's put it all together. The 5-day refined itinerary and alternatives. The first rule for a 5-day trip is a big don't.
Do not, under any circumstances, try to squeeze Kyoto into a 5-day trip.
It's just too much. You lose almost a whole day just on the train.
It turns a cultural trip into a frantic race against the clock. So the smart 5-day plan is 4 nights in Tokyo, based in one of those quiet neighborhoods we mentioned, and 1 night in Hakone.
And Hakone is the antidote to Tokyo's intensity.
It's the perfect reset button.
Yeah.
It's easy to get to. You get mountain scenery, you get the classic hot spring or onsen experience, and you get that beautiful, calming view of Mount Fuji.
But what if, even with this plan, Tokyo just sounds like too much? What are the alternatives?
There are 2 fantastic alternatives for getting that Japan experience with less intensity. First, Fukuoka.
That's on the southern island of Kyushu, right?
Right. It's famous for its ramen, its great street food stalls. It's a proper Japanese city, but it runs at about 20% less intensity, and it's even cheaper than Tokyo. And the airport is 10 minutes from downtown. It's incredibly manageable.
And the other option?
Kanazawa, people call it Little Kyoto,
Right.
and it delivers on that promise. You get the beautiful gardens, the old geisha districts, samurai houses, all the history you want from Kyoto, but with a tiny fraction of the crowds.
So it's the beauty of Kyoto without the tourist crush.
Exactly. And because it's on the coast, the seafood is absolutely world-class. It's a brilliant strategic choice if your main goal is traditional culture and beauty.
Okay, we've covered the money, the strategy, the itinerary, the alternatives. Let's bring it all home and help you, the listener, make that final call.
Let's run it through the final, is it worth it matrix. We'll do it by traveler type.
First up, the budget backpacker. What's the verdict?
I'm going to say mixed. Food is cheap, yeah, but hostels and transport costs add up. Staying under $50 a day is really tough without sacrificing a lot of comfort.
Okay, our target listener, the mid-range couple.
That's a resounding yes, unquestionably. The value for money right now is unbeatable. If you follow the strategic plan, it's one of the best travel experiences you can have.
What about a family trip with young kids?
Also mixed, leaning towards difficult. The tiny hotel rooms are a problem, and the city just isn't stroller friendly. Navigating those huge stations with kids in tow would be an exhausting nightmare.
And finally, the luxury traveler.
A definite yes. When money is no object, all the friction of Tokyo just melts away. You get a big hotel room, you hire private drivers, you have a concierge making all your reservations. The city becomes your playground.
So for our crowd-hating mid-range traveler, the conclusion is, go for it, but be smart. So what are the absolute core strategic takeaways for the learner?
Number one is acceptance. You have to accept that you cannot and will not see everything. Your goal isn't to cover ground, it's to find depth and quality.
Second, base yourself in that quiet, boring neighborhood. An Akasaka or a Ueno, give yourself a peaceful start and end to every single intense day.
Third, use time as your weapon. Get up at 6 a.m. for the popular temples. Eat dinner super early, like at 5:30 p.m. or super late after 9 to completely avoid restaurant lines.
And finally,
You have to budget for getting lost. Not with money, but with patience. It's going to happen. It's not a failure, it's part of the experience. And often, that wrong turn leads you to the best, most authentic moments.
the city really does reward curiosity and patience, not aggression.
It rewards people who stop trying to conquer it and just kind of let it happen to them.
Which raises one last provocative thought for you to think about as you're planning this trip. When you visit the most densely populated city in the world, where does true luxury lie? Is it in the stuff money can buy, like a bigger hotel room?
Or is it found in the truly rare commodities of that city? Pervasive silence and the freedom of functional invisibility.
Think about that trade-off. Where will you find your own slice of peace in the middle of 37 million people?
That's it for this deep dive on how to do Tokyo without the crowds.
Until next time, safe travels.